Look around you. What do you see? Maybe a screen or a light, or perhaps you can even hear the hum of a refrigerator in the kitchen. Our world is, honestly, built from machines. They're the quiet partners in our daily lives, the gears and circuits we often forget they're there. But these inventions didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were born from sparks of curiosity, built by clever hands and brilliant minds. Each one represented a leap forward, a new way of solving an old problem. These are not just tools, they are the engines of change that have propelled humanity forward through time. This story is about those machines. It's a journey through history, guided by the incredible inventions that shaped our civilization. We'll explore how a simple wheel could create empires, and we'll see how a machine for weaving thread could spark a revolution that would change every aspect of society. From the first tick of a clock to the global network of the internet, each machine tells a piece of a larger story. It is the story of human ingenuity, a tale of how we learned to master the physical world. Our journey begins with something so simple we barely think of it as a machine, the wheel and axle. It appeared around 3500 BC. We don't know the name of a single inventor. It was likely a shared idea that grew in ancient Mesopotamia. Before the wheel, people had to drag everything. Heavy loads were a huge problem. Moving goods or building materials was slow and difficult work. The wheel changed everything. It allowed for carts. It allowed for wagons. Suddenly, people could move more things farther and faster than ever before. This simple circle of wood or stone was the key to building cities. This simple circle of wood or stone was the key to trading goods. This simple circle of wood or stone was the key to expanding empires. Next, we jump forward thousands of years to an invention that tamed time itself, the mechanical clock. The first ones appeared in Europe around the 13th century. Again, no single inventor is known. These early clocks were huge devices in church towers. Then came a machine that changed the world of knowledge forever, the printing press. Around 1440, a German man named Johannes Gutenberg created a system using movable type. Before Gutenberg, books were copied by hand. This was incredibly slow and expensive. The printing press made it possible to produce hundreds of copies of a book in a fraction of the time. This was a revolution for information. Ideas could now spread like wildfire. The printing press did more than just make books cheaper. It democratized knowledge. The next great leap forward was powered by steam. The steam engine was the heart of the Industrial Revolution. While early versions existed, it was James Watt who dramatically improved the design in 1776. His engine was far more efficient. It could be used for much more than just pumping water out of mines. Watt's steam engine was a new source of power. It didn't rely on wind water or muscle. The factories powered by steam needed raw materials. One of the most important was cotton, but processing cotton was a slow and difficult job. In 1794, an American inventor named Eli Whitney created a machine to solve this problem. It was called the cotton gin. The name is short for cotton engine. One person using a cotton gin could clean as much cotton as 50 people working by hand. This made cotton production vastly more profitable. It fed the hungry textile mills in Great Britain and New England. But this efficiency came at a terrible human cost. The demand for cotton exploded, and so did the demand for enslaved labor to plant and pick it in the American South. The cotton gin, a machine meant to save labor, instead became a major factor in the expansion of slavery, leading directly to the American Civil War. It's a powerful example of how an invention can have unintended and tragic consequences. Inside the new factories, another machine was transforming how people made clothes. The spinning jenny was invented around 1764 by James Hargreaves, an English weaver. At the time, spinning thread from wool or cotton was a slow process. A spinner could only make one spool of thread at a time. This created a bottleneck in the textile industry. Hargreaves wanted to find a way to speed up this process for his family. The spinning jenny was a simple but brilliant idea. It used a single large wheel to turn 8 different spindles at once. This meant a single worker could now produce 8 spools of thread in the same amount of time it used to take to make one. The next revolution came from a machine that could think, in a way. The Jacquard loom, invented by Joseph Marie Jacquard in 1804, was a device that could weave incredibly complex patterns automatically. It did this by using a series of punched cards. Each card had holes in it, representing a line of the pattern. The loom would read the cards and lift the correct threads to create the design. If you wanted a different pattern, you just had to change the stack of cards. This was a revolutionary concept. It was the first time a machine used a programmable system to perform a complex task. Charles Babbage, a pioneer of computing, was inspired by the Jacquard loom for his analytical engine. The machine that wove beautiful fabrics also wove the first threads of the digital age. As factories grew, so did the need to feed the growing cities. The mechanical reaper was a machine that honestly transformed agriculture. It was invented by Cyrus McCormick in 1831. Before the reaper, harvesting crops like wheat was back-breaking work done by hand with a scythe. A whole family hired hands would have to work from sunrise to sunset to bring in the harvest. McCormick's machine was pulled by horses and could automatically cut the grain and lay it on a platform. It allowed a single farmer to harvest as much grain as 5 men working by hand. While some machines were changing the physical world, others were changing the world of communication. The telegraph was the first invention that allowed for instant communication over long distances. In 1837, Samuel Morse and his partners developed a system that could send electrical pulses over a wire. Morse also created a special code known as Morse code, short pulses, dots, long pulses, dashes which represented letters which represented numbers. This allowed people to send complex messages across continents in minutes, rather than the weeks it would take by mail. The telegraph was, in a way, the internet of its day. The world was getting faster, but it was still dark at night. That all changed with the invention of a practical light bulb. While many worked on the idea, Thomas Edison in 1879 created a bulb affordable for widespread use. His key innovation was finding the right filament, a carbonized bamboo fiber which could glow for over 1,200 hours without burning out. Edison didn't stop at the bulb. He built electrical generation and distribution systems to power it. The light bulb changed human life. It extended the day. People were no longer tied to the rising of the sun. People were no longer tied to the setting of the sun. They could work late into the night. They could read late into the night. They could socialize late into the night. Just as Edison conquered darkness, another inventor conquered distance with the human voice. Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone in 1876, a magical device. The telegraph sent messages. The telephone sent your voice. The first words were Bell to his assistant. "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." The telephone allowed real-time conversation across miles. It was more immediate and emotional than dots and dashes. The telephone transformed business and personal life. It made communication faster and more direct. Families stayed connected across long distances. For centuries, humans dreamed of flying. That dream became a reality on December 17, 1903. On that day, 2 brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, made the first successful flight in a powered, controlled airplane. Their machine, the Wright Flyer, stayed in the air for only 12 seconds and traveled just 120 feet. It was a short hop, but it was a monumental achievement. They had solved the complex problems of lift propulsion control. They had proven that heavier-than-air flight was possible. The airplane would go on to change the world. It revolutionized travel, making it possible to cross oceans, continents. It created a global community, connecting cultures and economies. While the Wrights were taking to the sky, another machine was transforming life on the ground. The internal combustion engine is the power behind the modern world. While it was developed by many inventors over several decades, it was Carl Benz who created the first true automobile powered by an internal combustion engine in 1886. This engine works by burning fuel inside a cylinder to push a piston, creating motion. It was smaller, lighter, and more powerful than the steam engine, which made it perfect for personal transportation. The next great revolution took place not in a factory or on a road, but inside a box. The computer. The first electronic general-purpose computer, ENIAC, was built in 1945. It was a monster of a machine. It filled a huge room. It weighed 30 tons. It contained over 17,000 vacuum tubes. It was designed to calculate artillery firing tables for the army. But its potential was so much greater. It could be programmed to solve a huge range of mathematical problems far faster than any human could. It was the birth of the digital age. These early computers were expensive and difficult to use. They were only found in universities, large corporations, government labs. But over the next few decades, the invention of the transistor and then the integrated circuit made computers smaller, cheaper, and more powerful at an incredible rate. This led to the personal computer, or PC, bringing computing into the home and the office. The computer became a tool for writing, calculating, designing, and playing. It was a machine that could manipulate information, the most valuable commodity of the modern era. The computer was a powerful tool, but its true potential was unlocked when computers started talking to each other. This brings us to the internet. The origins of the internet go back to a US military project in the 1960s called ARPANET. The goal was to create a communication network that could survive a nuclear attack. The key idea was to break data into small packets that could be sent through the network and reassembled at their destination. But in the early 1990s, the creation of the World Wide Web by Tim Berners-Lee made the internet accessible to everyone. Suddenly, you could use a graphical interface to browse information, share pictures, and connect with people all over the world. Our final two inventions cemented the world we live in today. The radio was developed by Guglielmo Marconi and others around the turn of the 20th century. It was the first technology for mass media. For the first time, a single voice could be broadcast through the air to millions at once. It created a shared experience. Families would gather around the radio for news, music, and stories. And what about the home itself? The refrigerator, which became common in households in the 1920s and 30s, quietly revolutionized daily life. Before refrigeration, preserving food was a constant struggle. People relied on salting, smoking, storing food in ice boxes that needed to be regularly restocked with ice. The electric refrigerator changed all that. It allowed people to store fresh foods safely for weeks. From the wheel to the web, these 15 machines are more than just clever contraptions. They are milestones in the human journey. Each one solved a problem, but in doing so, it created new possibilities, new challenges, and a new world. They are a testament to our restless curiosity and our innate desire to improve our lives. Each invention built upon the ones that came before it, in a long and fascinating chain of cause and effect. As we stand here today, we are surrounded by the legacy of these inventions. They are the invisible architecture of our modern existence, and the story is far from over. New machines and new ideas are being born every day, in garages and laboratories around the world. What will be the next machine that changes everything? Perhaps it will be in robotics, artificial intelligence, biotechnology. We do not know what the future holds, but if the past is any guide, we know that human ingenuity will continue to find a way forward, building the next chapter of our incredible story, one invention at a time,